We've had all kinds of technical issues for the second time to get the first episode of Free Think out there. You see, Les is already here. My name's Travis Dockery, better known as your. Les is an aficionado of orbs and weird things in the sky, I guess you could say. And we tried this yesterday. Unfortunately, something came up. Les had to skip out, which life happens. But I think it worked out better, Les, because people were like, "Hey, man, I was really into that. Please tell me y'all are going to try again." So we threw a little chum in the water yesterday, and now maybe we set the hook tonight. How's that sound?
That sounds great. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for hanging in there and trying again. Do want to mention real quick, W Energy, W.GG. Use promo code TravTalk at checkout. Save 10%. Do away with coffee. Do away with energy drinks that are pumped full of sugar. W.GG. Okay, Les. Now, to kind of get caught up, yesterday we talked about how you recently moved to Arkansas or Arkansas, depending on where you're from. And but this this phenomenon of you and guy, I think you said you've been at it for 4 years. Am I correct?
That's right. Yes, sir. This month is my 4-year anniversary. June 29th is the very first time that I actually recorded a UFO, and it was certified as a UFO too through MUFON, which is the Mutual UFO Network.
Oh, wow. So yesterday we'd started seeing a little evidence. I think it was the footage of the very first one you captured you were breaking down, correct?
Yes, sir. That's right.
So do you want to pick up there?
Yeah, that sounds great. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this again. And let me just kind of scoot this over here a little bit. All right. So this right here is going to be the craft that basically what I did is I set up my camera on a stand and I put it up in the sky, or I put it up aimed up to the sky. And then I made it to where, anything that flew over, planes, birds, bugs, any of that stuff would be seen, and clouds as well. So this right here is I was filming.
So I've got a question.
Yes,
The delay's getting us. I've got a question. What made you decide to film the sky? Like, what was had you already seen stuff, or did you just planes just for video sake?
Yeah, just planes and clouds just for video sake. And it was during COVID time, and I'm a big fan of the clouds, and had a pretty nice camera. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and set up my camera out there and see what I can catch. And then all of a sudden, this plane flew by, and it was a C-130 from Little Rock Air Force Base. And this is it was very just kind of a chance moment that I was able to record that. And it was pretty unique that I was able to. And my dad actually used to fly in these planes when he was in the Navy. So I knew what they were. And it was very interesting to be able to catch it. And then all of a sudden behind it, I noticed that there was a little craft going behind it. And that's when I kind of got into this whole thing.
Okay, so now we're caught up, and yesterday you were breaking down. Okay,
yeah. So
let's see what you got.
So this right. Okay, so this right here, I'm going right to the point right here now. This is the actual plane that flew over, and what we're going to do is I'm using a program called SM Player, which is freeware. And if you just look up smplayer.info, you can do this. So we're going to take this right here. Going to take the plane and scoot this over just a little bit. Oh, did you see that? Okay, let's go back
a little bit.
There we go.
Oh, there. Yep.
All right, so I'm going to zoom in. Okay, and this right here is it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and see if I can see how this looks over here. Okay, yeah, there we go. So this right here is the object right here. Now, ever since I've been playing this video, let me scoot this right there. There we go. All right. Oh, did kind of there we go. All right. Ever since I recorded this video, I've noticed that there's been other objects in the sky. So let
In
me go ahead.
this same video you're talking
In
about.
the same video, right? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to zoom it over here just a little bit. There we go. All right, you can see this little object, and right now I've got the software right above over here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to change the video on here, kind of make it a little bit darker. I don't know how clear this will be on here, but I'm gonna go ahead and change that down. Oh, there we go. All right, close. Okay, now I'm gonna move this over one frame at a time. There we go. And as you can see, there's already one right there.
Yeah.
Okay, now watch
it's almost
right
like balls of light coming out of the plane or off the plane. It's like it's tracking it, right?
Just about, yeah. See how it's coming out beforehand. See, like the plane's in front of it, and then all of a sudden you got that, and then that, and then that.
And you don't that's not lens flare from the sun there.
Correct, right? Because the lens flare is actually this little dot right over here.
Okay.
And then at the beginning, when I set up the video, let's go back over here. Okay, there we go. At the beginning is when I set up the video for it to there you go. So that's my face, of course.
Right.
And then now we're going to move it over a little bit. And then what I did is I mounted it on a, let me go ahead and just scooch this over here just a little bit. Okay, there we go. I mounted it on just a little piece of board. Kind of aimed it up to the sky. Okay, so it's still on there. Scooting it over here just a little bit. There we go. You can kind of see it on my face there a little bit.
Yeah, right there.
Yep. Okay. And then see how it just sits there. So with the film or with the camera not moving, that's the only place where that lens flare can be. So
I think that's something important to talk about. Even though we're looking at it, looks like it's moving. That's just you where you've zoomed in, moving the screen around so we can see it better. It wasn't the camera moving in actual time, right?
Correct. Okay. That's right. Yeah. So basically, it's let me switch back over here to this. Okay. So this we'll just say that this is the camera right here.
Mm-hmm.
And then the camera is aimed up to the sky, just like that.
Okay.
And then it's in selfie mode.
Okay.
So then whenever you go into selfie mode, you can look in there and you can set up the camera to be filming up towards the sun, just like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And then what I did is I just let that roll for about half an hour. And if anybody actually wants to view the entire video, you can actually go to my YouTube channel, which is Objects and Orbs, and that's on YouTube. And then you can also go to my my Facebook group. I have Objects and Orbs as well. But go to my YouTube channel, check it out, and you can also see the edited version of this video, so you can see how close it is to the plane and also some of the other objects that are out there. There's actually a few others. So that's this. So go ahead.
Let me ask you something. When you brought your phone in and started to watch the video.
Yes.
How many times did you have to watch to see that first one we saw, or did you see it first time you watched it?
No, it actually took me a couple of times. And basically what I did is I didn't sit down and watch the entire 30-minute version of the video. I basically just kind of skipped through it using the fast forward. Right. And I could do 1 second at a time, 2 seconds at a time, and then just keep going faster and faster. And then that's when I noticed a little blip on the screen, and that's when I noticed that there was something that was a little bit out of the ordinary. So let me see. Well, you saw it after I showed it to you a few times, right? It took just a couple of seconds there to kind of
And I mean, I had the benefit of I knew something was there. I knew what I was looking for, right?
Right. So, yes, exactly. Yeah. And so this is the way that I do all of my videos. I can go through if I set out my cameras on the outside, and then I bring them in, hook them up, and basically all you do is just hook it up to your, you get your phone, and then you plug in your wire and plug it into the phone, and then drag it into your computer and just watch it that way. And I also basically my gig is that I like to use any old equipment that I have, any old cameras like my Samsung S7. I love using those. Those work out great. And as long as your camera still works on your cell phone, it doesn't matter if it has service or not. You can still, if it'll still record and you can still get the video out, hey, that's great. And that's basically how I do it.
So
And
this first one that we just saw, that kind of ignited something in you,
it sure
correct?
did. Yeah, it sure did. So what I did with this, I noticed, I was like, well, heck, that looks like it, it could be something out of the ordinary. I didn't know what it was. So what I did was I contacted Little Rock Air Force Base, which is about maybe about 20 miles from here, actually, in Jacksonville, Arkansas. And then this was up in Searcy, about another 20 miles away. And then I also contacted MUFON, and they were the ones who said that, yeah, we can't determine what this is in anything that we have in all of our databases. And they've been doing this since 1969. So yeah, so this was 2021 when this one came out. Yeah.
So then does does the government and those organizations, do they keep that on file as a record?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You didn't have Men in Black coming to visit you or anything, right?
Well, let's just say the next day after I turned in my thumb drive to Little Rock Air Force Base, I did have 3 Black Hawk helicopters fly over. So that counts. And then when I lived in Mineral Bluff in outside of Blue Ridge, we did have a Men in Black black SUV come up the hill. Now you know about the hills in Georgia. So if you could just imagine a black SUV coming up there, and when I was at home, my wife came home and she said, "Did you see that black SUV?" I said, "No." And she said, "Well, there's a black SUV and it was backed up to the house." And I was like, "Okay." And she said, "But it's gone now." I'm like, "All right."
I'm sure everything's fine, Les. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So that's happened. And then we've had those times where you can hear helicopters, but you don't see any helicopters. And that's happened a few times. That's happened even here at my new house. And then it happened also at my mom's house in Mineral Bluff. And then it also happened another time as well. So,
I think I'd rather have the UFO.
Yes, definitely. Right.
Okay. So you see that first one, and that are you immediately the next day, that night, are you out filming again? And how long did it take until you were like, there's another one? Was it immediate?
Right. Yeah, just about. I went back and I looked back on this footage, and I've been able to find a few of them actually.
Just in that original shot.
Just in the original video. Yeah. Let me see if I can find another one here.
But I mean, like the next time you filmed, did you get another one the second time, or did it take a few more times?
No, you mean like immediate, like how long did it take me to find it?
No, like once you saw this video, right? And you're like, I've captured something. How long did it take you when you went out to film again before you saw another thing? Was it the very next time you filmed?
Yeah, definitely. They seem to be out there all the time. I mean, we're talking like all the time. I can go out there
and
yeah, the reason
we just don't see them because of
the sun.
Tell me.
The reason why we don't see them is because of the sunlight, like directly aiming into the sun.
Okay.
Yeah. So
they use the sun as camouflage, you're saying?
Yes. And if you think about it, that's the best camouflage.
Yeah, we're not looking there.
So let me see. All right.
Not very long anyway.
No. So I'm going to try to find another one here. Let's see. Okay. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you some of my best work.
You're just joining us, Les Durrant, in Orbs and UFOs. Okay, fire away, buddy.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I've been pumped about this.
There's 1, 2. All right. So here we go. So let's just go ahead and do this one. So back in February, I actually had a UFO conference in Mineral Bluff. It was great. We had, or actually in Blue Ridge, we had about 100 people, and it was actually amazing. So here's what I'm going to do. Here we go. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to transition this over. I'm going to let you hear it. This is actually what do I call the golden object. Here goes. Wow. 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 I still see them. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, let me go back here a little bit so I can bring it more.
And where was this? This was it.
This is in Mineral Bluff.
Was this in Mineral Bluff?
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
So there we go. Okay. Wow. Right about here. Okay. So let me back this up just a little bit. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want you to see something as I'm doing this here. Let me go back here. There we go. And bring that down here just a little bit. Okay. There we go. And this is kind of small. There we go. See that little white round, that little white circle at the top?
Oh, wow.
Yep. That's how we know. That's how we know that it's not a Chinese Chinese lantern.
Lantern?
Yep, not a Chinese lantern.
Okay, so I full transparency, because I told you yesterday, look, this is not argumentative, but I am going to have questions. That's immediately what I thought. That's a Chinese lantern.
Mm-hmm.
And admittedly, it's on an awkward angle for one,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know what that would have to do with that circle of lights in the corner.
Right,
you know?
Exactly. That's why, see, so I think the same thing, and I'm going to switch back over. I think the same thing when I'm talking to people too. I want to make sure that it's absolutely not able to be debunked right away as something like that. I want to make sure that
right, because if you're throwing out a Chinese lantern or a balloon or whatever, and that's easily debunked, then you lose credibility for not only what you think, but what you're trying to tell other people about. So I understand that it doesn't benefit anyone who's a true believer or really tracking this stuff down. A hoax doesn't benefit you at all. It just sets you up for failure. So I don't think
exactly.
that you're doing that.
So the setup about this is that I would.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So the setup on this is that I was on top of Piney Mountain in Mineral Bluff, 1,900 feet up. And where I was is about 5 miles from the Tennessee border and 5 miles from North Carolina border. So you have an idea about where that is. And
yep.
And I was, so like I said, I was 1,900 feet up, and I was filming about that's at 10x actually. So there's trees all around all of that area. Okay, so now let's go back and take a look at this. I'm going to zoom in on it. That way we can take a look at it. Okay, there we go. All right, there we go.
So when you see this, I mean, that's enough there, this golden object you're talking about. I mean, when you see that, that's the first one you see, right? And then the circle appears. Oh. So you're already in shock. Look what I'm looking at. And then something else is like, oh, yeah, well, look at this. I mean,
exactly. Yeah. See, and when I was filming it, I actually thought it was two red lights at first. It's like, oh, there's two red lights. There's two of them. And then, but after I hear that, I was like, oh, so I was seeing two different things. So this is it right here. Now just wait for it. Okay, and I'm going to scoot it over a little bit.
That's crazy.
This is the other thing that helps this video out too. Right about there. Oh, see how the lights came on?
Yeah.
Just like that.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking. Like,
that's all right. That's the idea. I like that. No, that's good. That works. I like that. See? And then it only stays up for just a little bit.
And it's almost like it turns and you can see the bottom, like where those lights.
Yes. Yeah. And I can rewind it back a little bit and make the lights go back out here. Let's see. There we go.
It almost looks like a ghost on Pac-Man.
You know, it does actually. I've often thought that sometimes. See, let me go back here a little bit more because I'm only going frame by frame right now. So it's only taken just a few seconds actually to.
And there's no way to reference how big this thing is, right? You're just looking in the black sky. So who knows?
Right. There's 1, 2, and there are 2 red ones, and they're blinking. Yeah, so I don't know if you could hear that or not, but yeah, that was me saying, hey, there's 2 red ones, yeah, and they're blinking. And see, and that really had nothing to do with this one. So yeah. Yeah, so that's the golden object. Okay, let me drop another one in. Let's see. Oh, you're gonna like this one.
I have so many questions, Les, but I'll wait. No, let's see more.
Okay.
See more footage.
I don't know if you know where Hard Scrabble is in Blue Ridge or in Mineral Bluff. Okay, so this is turning from Highway 60 and turning up into Blue Ridge, or no, turning into Mineral Bluff on Hard Scrabble, and then I don't know if you know where Burkhalter Ranch is or where it was, but this is right over the top of that. So here we go. Okay, I see. Okay, here we go. And here we go. Yeah, what is this? Man, look at this. Yeah, my wife's like, that's above our house. Come on. This is awesome.
So,
yeah, they're dying out.
If you're getting the audio version of this, I pity you, but it's like 3 red oranges. I'm colorblind, so correct me if I'm wrong, Les, but it's like red, pinkish, oranges orbs.
Yes. Mm-hmm. There you go.
And
I went in
almost in a triangle.
Yeah.
And looks like are they pulsing, or is that just camera? Okay.
Awesome. And see, as I zoom out, they go away. Yeah, they're dying out.
Yeah. So you don't think those are flares or anything? There would be no reason for a flare to be there, right?
No, because a flare, when you send a flare up, then the stream of it goes down.
That's true.
You see what I'm saying? So yeah. And then based on where we're at on one side of the mountain, see, this is on one side of the mountain, there's nothing there, and then on the other side is Airbnbs.
Okay.
So yeah, so this is right up there off of I don't know if it's called not Airport Road, but Airline Road, or I can't remember exactly what that was called, but I call it the top of the world. It's
there you go.
Yeah, so I mean, but yeah, so that
so do you go out hunting on a regular basis?
Yes, every night that it's clear, I'll go out there and I'll ask them to fly by. And
okay, all right, stop right there.
Yes.
This is when I was telling people about episode 1, and I was telling them about you and how I had seen before some of the stuff that you do, and I said I'm pretty sure he says he can summons them in.
Yes.
And as you could guess, I got some looks and some now do whats, and so
yeah.
I have questions about this. Let's start with how do you do this?
Okay, very simple actually, and this is what they call CE5 or Close Encounters 5. I don't know if you've ever heard of Stephen Greer. He is he's basically the guy who kind of masterminded this, and so you got Close Encounters 1 through 1 where you see, and then they interact. This is basically Close Encounters 5 is basically where they interact with you. And basically what you do is you ask them if they can fly by or ask them to show themselves. And okay. I'm gonna give you some homework on my YouTube channel. There's one called Requesting Dedications, just like that, and How to Summon UFOs. And that will actually show you how to do it. But for you to do that, if like let's say you go out tonight and it's clear sky, what you do is there's a free program called Sky Map.
Okay,
and you just download Sky Map and it's free. Then what you do is you find the clearest or the brightest star and the clearest star, and it could be Arcturus, it could be Deneb, it could be any of them that are out there but you just want to get the brightest one, so that way you can kind of know which one it is. That way you kind of know your lay of the land, just like if you go outside and you know your land or your property, where each tree is, where this is and that is. You walk outside and you're like, okay. So when you look up in the sky, you're going to see, oh, there's Arcturus. So, all right, there's Arcturus. But what you do is you just keep looking up and you just say, hey, can you fly by Arcturus for me? And then what you do.
So just through mental telepathy.
Yes, that's right. Exactly. Telepathy. Yeah, mental telepathy and just using your voice. And I guarantee it will work. In fact, I used to even have skywatching parties at our house up there, and invite people to come over, and we would get them all the time.
Even people who are not hardcore dedicated to it like you.
Yes. Yes. Yep. Because they wanted to just be able to see if it would work, and sure enough, they're like, "Wow, we didn't believe it, but sure enough, does." But so one thing that I want your listeners and viewers to do is to look up CE5.
CE5, Close Encounters 5, not
Yes,
a movie.
not a
It's not
movie.
part
No.
5 of Close
Yeah.
Encounters.
Yeah. CE5, and it's CE5 Contact, and you'll be able to get more information on that. Stephen Greer, in fact, oh gosh, there's actually a guy from North Carolina, Bledsoe. Um, Bledsoe does. I think his name is David Bledsoe. He does that as well, and he's
Now,
from North Carolina.
did you see these other guys doing it?
Chris Bledsoe. I'm sorry.
Or did you just feel, you know what, I'm seeing these things, I'm going to see if I can get them to appear? Or did you see these other guys doing it and you thought, I'm going to try that?
I've had other people ask me, or I've asked people, hey, how do you get them to come out? And they said, all you got to do is just ask, just go outside and ask. And the thing about Stephen Greer is, he has a lot of this meditation and apps and stuff, and a lot of stuff that you pay for, and you don't need any of that stuff. All you got to do is you just go out and ask for it, and
everything's a money racket.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and that's one thing I'm not about, any of that kind of stuff. So I just tell people, go out there and just ask them to fly by and look up, and I guarantee you they do. And I can go out there just about every night, and see
Now,
different ones.
How do you differentiate between just the normal satellite flying by and one of these? Is it the behavior? Is it the pulsing? How do you determine the difference?
Yes. There's there's actually a few different ways. One is you can use a program called Flight Radar 24. That's for airplanes. That way you know it's not an airplane. And then the next thing that you can do is download a program called Stellarium, and Stellarium has an AR version of the satellites, so they'll tell you what satellites are up there at that moment.
But that's why you need to know where you're looking.
Right. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So if you're looking in front of the star Arcturus and you don't see anything, and nothing's flying by it, but all of a sudden something does, and if you take your satellite viewer and say, oh, okay, well, that's a satellite flying by, or that's the ISS or whatever, then yeah, that's how that works.
Okay. And so when you summons them, what do they just appear? Do they do some kind of special thing, or do they just appear and then drift away?
No. Yeah. They actually, they just appear and then they just kind of fade out, actually.
All right. Did you have something you wanted to show us, or are you good with more questioning?
I've got. Yeah, go ahead and you can ask me a few more questions, but I've got videos too. So
go ahead.
Okay.
You go ahead. Whatever you want to do.
All right. Okay. Here's one. This is at my mom's house. Let me show this right here. Here we go. All right. There we go.
And we're back in Mineral Bluff.
Yes. I'm going to zoom in a little bit.
So this kind of looks like that golden thing again, right? The Pac-Man ghost.
Almost. Yeah. And really what this looks like is it almost looks like the exhaust coming out of a plane, but it's aimed down.
Yeah. Or so it's kind of like a rocket or something.
It's kind of like a rocket that sits there, but doesn't go up. Yeah. So here goes. We just called that within seconds, and it looks like something interesting.
And this is, if you're just listening, this is it looks like daylight. So
it is, yeah. We're gonna scooch this over here just a little bit. Bring this over one second. Here we go.
So it looks like everything we're seeing. Everything looks different, like it's different shapes. Or do you think these are different crafts, or are they
they're
shape
all
shifting things?
yeah, they're all. I would say that not a lot of them are always the same. I'd say that very often they're different.
Hmm. That's weird because I guess we think about cars or planes or everything. They all, even the differences, they have pretty much the same shape, but
Right.
no two are anywhere close. I mean, from a distance, this one looked like the golden object you talked about, but when you zoomed in there, it's
Oh yeah.
almost like I don't even know, an upside down V or something.
Mm-hmm. You see that up there?
It's right up there. Yes. Yes.
Now, is this just one you happen to capture, or is this one you summoned?
No, actually, I summoned this one as well. When I walked out, I said, I said, it would be nice. It's going to be just one moment. I do apologize. Okay. Oops, sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah. So this one right here, the interesting thing about this one was that I was at my mom's house and I said, it'd be really cool to be able to see a craft. And so I was thinking, if you could just show yourself, that'd be great. And so then, because I was at my mom's house, and so when I did, yeah, that one came out. So
I heard you
yes.
in the start of the video. You said, "Go get mom." What did mom say when mom saw it?
Yeah, she's like that's not a craft. That's
That's
she
not
said
normal.
that's not normal. That's not a plane. That's bula bula.
Bula bula.
So yeah.
All right.
She's
So
like, bula, bula.
all right. Let's talk about your theories on things. All right.
Yes.
And if I ask something and it's offensive, it's not on purpose. It's through ignorance. All right. So just keep that in mind. So, do you think these are interplanetary?
Can I put you on pause?
Craft?
Can I put you on pause real quick? I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. I'll switch over here. Let's see. How do I get? We'll get. Maybe I can get over here. I don't know. We'll do this. I'll switch him around. That's not it. Now I'll go here. So if you're just joining us, Les Durrant is showing us his evidence of orbs, UFOs, and look, no matter what you think things may be, there's no denying that there's something in the sky. If you're watching, you're seeing this stuff, and you can't say, like, all right, the one thing looked like a Chinese lantern, fine, but I don't know what that last thing was. It looked like an upside down V, and just kind of hanging there. Now, hopefully everything's okay and we get to finish this out today, but I have questions. He left us hanging with, he does believe these are interplanetary craft, and I don't know. That's a possibility. No matter what you think, that's a possibility. Two, it could be some kind of man-made thing. It could be a government weapon of some kind, right?
All right.
And looks
I'm
like
back.
Les is back with us.
Sorry
now.
about that.
Okay.
Whew. All right.
No, it's fine, man.
All right. So yeah,
we switched sides now.
Yeah,
So you do think they're interplanetary?
Oh, definitely. Interplanetary and interdimensional.
Okay, that was going to be my next question.
Yes.
Do you think another dimension?
Yes, definitely. And basically, like opening a door and walking through it. It's just that simple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if that's the case, what do you think their purpose is for showing up here? Are they observing? Are they controlling? Like,
probably a little bit of both. I know definitely they're observing, and I'm sure that there is a part of control going with that as well. Now, the other thing about this too is they just don't want us to blow ourselves up. And
so now, how do you come to that conclusion?
Because they're always looking around bases and nuclear sites.
Yeah. Okay.
And
so just patrolling, basically.
Yes, definitely. And you'd think, well, why would they want to come see us? Well, because we have resources that they need. There are some resources that we have. Okay, even being from North Carolina, you know how good the crystal is there. So they need that crystal.
Okay, so how do they get it?
They come down and get it somehow. That I have no idea. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your honesty instead of just throwing something out
it's
there.
Kind of like, you know, if you got to drive down the street to another store, or if you got to go far away just to get something that you need, then that totally makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know how they would get it without us knowing it. You know, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And the thing is with that, I mean, they're so advanced as far as their knowledge goes that they can get that kind of stuff, you know, without any problem. I mean, and they are, if you ever hear about them taking cows and mutilating cows and doing surgical stuff on cows and stuff like that, and you know, they can do all that and do surgery on a cow and completely remove all the blood and the internal organs without, you know, leaving any sign, then yeah, definitely.
Do you think that they're all from the same place, or are you seeing?
No, I think they're from all different places. I think they're from Lyra. A lot of them are from Lyra, I've been told, and a lot of them are from the Pleiades as well.
And Lyra is a star?
Lyra is a star, yes. Lyra.
Okay. Lyra. Oh, well, Lyra.
Now, if you want to go a little bit beyond, to be like, how do we know that they are from there? Is that there are some people that are hybridized with them as well. That's another thing that they are also looking for. Is they're also looking for hybridization. So,
okay, pause, Les. Pause. You can't just hit me with hybrids and keep rolling. I've got to process this.
Right.
So, hybrid would be from the result of abductions.
Yes.
Do you think?
Exactly.
And it's not one specific, like one or two hybrids. Would it be a bloodline of hybrids?
Yes. They're looking for an Rh negative blood type.
Reason being?
I don't know exactly why. I do know that Rh negative, there is something saying that it's not. Let me just tell you this. You'd have to look it up as far as look at why is Rh negative associated with aliens. You could do that.
So why hybridize? Is it to try to get that blood type?
I wouldn't say to try to get that blood type, but to try to get human emotion. They definitely like human emotions.
So they're more scientific.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So okay. So if
you can imagine an AI, you can imagine an AI robot. I mean, you know, most people kind of know what those are now. It's like an AI robot. Yep. For them to be able to have, there has to be some way for them to be able to feel emotion and to be able to use that emotion, be it mad, happy, sad, love, that kind of thing.
But you're not saying necessarily that these beings are robotic.
Correct.
They're just robotic in nature, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So if the goal is let's just say that the goal is to become more humanized as far as emotion, how is it? Are they trying to grow their own race here and then one day remove that race? Or
a little bit of both, yes. And if you have you ever looked at somebody and looked at their eyes and say, "Man, you look like you got alien eyes," or or somebody who's got a very rounded face, just like a bowling ball type face. Okay, like how can you have a bowling ball face as opposed to somebody who has a flat cut? Like even myself, right? I'm square cut. Like if you go across the top of my head and flat down like that, and then kind of pointed down here like this.
You got me a little self-conscious right now, Les. Looking at my camera, I'm a little rounded in the head. You've got me worried.
right? So, but that no, really, and a lot of times you can tell, you can see people like they've got these big old eyes like this, or they've got the big
All right.
cheekbones like this.
Are we going reptilian here?
Yes.
So, all right.
Yes.
There is so
Yes.
much to process for
Okay.
this. Am I shocking you with my knowledge
No,
of this
well,
stuff?
no. Actually, you're doing fine. You're actually putting things together. That's the way to do it. If you start watching a lot of these documentaries, then you start putting the puzzle pieces together. Say, oh, I'm going to take this piece and I'm put it with that piece, and be like, oh, hey, I've got something here. But yeah,
All right. Let me ask you this, and obviously this is all speculation, but why do you think that they visit without visiting? Like, why don't they land, interact on not just talking about abductions or Farmer John in a cornfield in Kansas? Why are they so reluctant to interact with us on a daily basis?
I think that it has to do with the government, because they're already working with the government. Like you said, Men in Black, they pretty much are Men in Black.
I don't like them now, Les. They're working with the government.
Yeah.
But all right, let me throw this at you. I don't know spiritual background or anything, but I do know some people who the things that we're talking about, and they agree that there's things out there, the orbs, but I've heard people say that they are demonic entities. You totally rule that out?
Yeah, I've had a lot of people think that they were demons, especially when I was in Georgia. A lot of people thought that they're demons, and I said, well, here's the thing, that how many demons are there? I mean, really, if you look at how many stars, there's millions and millions and millions of stars. Why would a demon need a craft to fly in?
See, all right. Granted, that valid point, but like from what we've seen today, it's like, to me, it's just like orbs of light. Like, I didn't see any definite craft. Like the closest thing was when you had the golden object, I think you called it, and then the little circle of lights that was in the corner. That circle was more the traditional UFO, what we think of. But these other things, they're just kind of just beings of light.
Yes, the beams of light, or beings of light.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah,
yes.
I have south mouth, so sometimes it runs together.
No, that's fine. That's fine, because a lot of times I've come across times where I thought that they were what I call organic, and that a being would be an organic kind of thing, a grown kind of the thing, and
if they're jumping dimensions, they wouldn't necessarily need a craft for that, right? It's just a portal hole that they're walking through,
correct,
or flying through, whatever. All right, let me ask you this: you are able to summons them. Have you ever? And if you don't want to say, that's fine. Have you ever felt like you got a message from them, whether telepathic or just something they were doing?
No, I actually had another podcaster ask me. She said, well, why don't you ask them sometime about what their purpose is? And so I did, and they said, I asked them, I said, so why are you here? And they said, to help you. Like, okay, to help like humanity, or you or me, like myself? And they're like, no, to help.
You mowing the yard? What are we doing
actually
here?
To just help me get through hard times. Now, that doesn't mean that God's not there, and that doesn't mean that Jesus is not there. That just means that, we've got some assistants out there saying, hey.
Okay, well, let's throw. We talked about demonic. Do you think maybe these have a dose of angelic?
Yes, glad you said angelic, because that's the way that they feel like whenever they come over. Quite often, my wife sees them too. She sees them all the time with me as well. But we look at them and we just kind of watch them in awe. We're like, wow, that's just amazing. But they do have an angelic kind of feeling. Definitely, yeah.
I'm like I said earlier, I don't know what I think.
And the best way to do it is for you to go out there and just try it yourself. Just go out there and look up. Most people are always looking down now at their phones. That's all they do all day is look down. So look up instead, and just imagine and wonder what's up in the sky. And I guarantee that you will eventually see something. You will see something that is not quite what you think it is, and then that'll make you want more. And I think that that's really why they're here too. Is another reason why they're here is to create that wonder in us.
Huh. So, all right. So you said that they did send you the message about here to help. Have you had any kind of other close encounter of a different kind?
No, not really. There's been a
Okay. Would you
oh
want to,
yes,
like,
yes, yes,
if
yes.
you were in,
Yeah.
so if you were in bed one night and a beam of light came through the house, you would be like, all right, I'm ready for this
Yes,
ride.
I'm ready to rock and roll. Yeah. Now I do have a friend who's been abducted like 8 times. He's up in Canada. His name is Rich. Yes. He even
You hit me with stuff,
all
Les, and you
right.
just keep
That's
motoring
what I
on.
do.
It's I'm drinking from a fire
Okay.
hose here. So not only has he been abducted, he's been abducted, you said
8 times.
times?
Yeah. Yeah. And he's even
Is that not like being hit by lightning 8 times, or is there something
yeah.
specific about him that
I
interests
think
them?
it's the RH negative blood type. Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
farming him.
Yeah. Because when I first met him, he was crying all the time, and I was like, Rich, why are you what's going on, man? He said, I told him, I said, if they're gonna keep coming to get you, then you have to kind of almost accept it. And you need to there's got to be a reason why they want to mess with you. Now we don't know exactly what they're looking for, but they have left their marks on him, and he's shown me his marks. And I'm also in a documentary, and speaking of this, I'm in a documentary called Encounters, the complete interviews, and that's episode 1 or season 1, episode 3. So
Is that on Amazon?
it's on Amazon. It's also on
I think I've seen it. it, Les.
Awesome. It's on Amazon. It's on Tubi. The best way to look at it's on Tubi. Just look up Encounters, the complete interviews, and it's mostly my episode is about how to record them, but everybody else's is have been people who've been abducted, and they all have similar stories.
You said that they've left marks on him, like scars or burn marks, or what do we
injection marks, like little triangles, like little dots. Like there'll be like 3 dots on their neck, or 3 dots on the side of their face, or on their ears, or right behind their ears. Yeah.
And he remembers every abduction.
Yeah.
Or did he? So does he remember the little grays,
Yeah.
or does he just remember?
They're mostly the grays. Yeah,
mostly the grays.
Yeah. And a lot of times
Yes,
what they'll do is they put, instead of putting something in your bum or whatever, a lot of times now they put it in your ear or in your nose.
Well, they know they've got a bad rap for stuffing
That's
the bum
right.
with stuff.
Yes.
So
Yes.
they're leaving that to the government. But anyway, I digress. So what's the most recent? And if you don't have it, that's fine. Just talk to us. The most recent encounter you've had, the most recent video, is it fairly recently?
Man, I've got tons. Just trying to think what would be a good one to show you. I've got one here that I'm going to show you here. This is
okay.
I'm going to show you this. This is actually just from 2024, but there we go. Okay, let me zoom this out. Okay. All right. So this is back in Mineral Bluff again. Now I have had some here in Arkansas, but I haven't had time to actually put them all together. But this is one in Arkansas. So, or I mean in Georgia. So I'm gonna let you see this. Here it goes.
Uh-oh. Let me switch you. There we go.
Thank you. Wow. All right. Let's zoom in on it.
Now, who are you thanking? Are you thanking them? Is this one
Yes. I always try to summon them and then thank them at the same time. See, now at first this looks just like a little dot. Like, okay, that could be anything. But when you slow it down and pause it, see, I just paused it right there.
Yeah.
You can actually see form to it.
Oh yeah, I see like the outer.
Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay. And these are,
It almost has the same shape as that golden. Well, not anymore.
okay, that's just one frame. 2 frames.
Okay.
3, 4, 5, 6. See how it?
Yes, it's just a ball of light.
Mhm. Okay, now there
It's
we go.
just dancing.
Yep, there we go.
You got a fairy, Les. That's a fairy from the old
I
Gaelic
would
tales.
I would have wished it was, but now I capture those otherwise sometimes. Not here in Arkansas yet, but
Oh, Les, I got to have you on multiple times, buddy. We got to catch ghosts and
Oh, I
fairies for
know.
sure.
But see how that changes the design?
And you don't think that's just a camera issue zooming in, right?
No,
I mean,
because I zoomed in on it just now on my with the SM player.
right, but I mean, it's not the light affecting the camera lens. And if you're just listening, yeah, it can't be a star because there's no other stars around. It's the only thing in the
Right,
sky.
and you got to remember it's at night, and there's no light on it, other than it's producing its own light. So, do you know about Ezekiel's vision? Okay.
Oh yeah.
This is what's part of Ezekiel's vision. They call these Merkaba vehicles.
This is the
Yes.
wheel.
Pretty sort of the same thing.
Well, you know, the wheel in the sky keeps on
That's
turning.
right.
And all right. Oh, the noise, I guess, is just you hitting the keyboard to go frame by frame.
Yeah.
Okay. It got me for a minute. I was like, it's ticking.
Yes. There you go. Yeah. So that's basically part of that too. And I catch those all the time. All the time.
I want to play devil's advocate here, okay? And it's not to attack. It's just to give you an opportunity to, because I know even though people aren't asking the questions, I know some of the questions people are asking. Is it why is it a case of, well, you're looking for it, so of course you see it, or is it the rest of us don't look? It's obvious we just don't look. What do you think?
Both.
Both.
Yeah. Do you know anything about the quantum mechanics?
Well, I don't like to brag, but
okay,
no.
All right. So there is something called the observer effect. So if you want to take notes on this, it's called the observer effect. And
let me throw this out there. See if I'm right here. Like when you buy a new vehicle, let's say you buy a red Jeep, you start noticing more red Jeeps after you have it.
No.
Is it
no? It's because you're recording something, and you're bringing something into light. So you can actually record this is how the fairies come into play. So because you're putting up a camera to something, it's able to show itself based on the equipment in the camera.
So it's a lack of ability through our eye, or is
it's the observer effect. It's because it's being watched. It's kind of like if you're let me see if I get this right. If you are taking tire pressure, it's not going to be the exact pressure because you have to let some pressure out. It's something to that effect. But you'll have to take a look at it on just look it up in the dictionary. Yeah, the observer effect is what, and that's part of the quantum mechanics and part of quantum physics.
You've encouraged us to do this for ourselves. Would you suggest to go out and look, or would you suggest to do like you did and just have a recording and then look at the recording?
I want you to go look and then go look, and then whatever kind of equipment you have, use that equipment to get a better recording, or to get a recording of what you just saw. Because you're going to continue to see more.
What if you're not comfortable with it. Les, what if you look and you're like, you know what? I really wasn't ready for this. Can you abort
Of course,
immediately?
go back.
Just close your eyes.
Yeah,
And never...
then don't look up. Because the other part was said is because we're not looking, and yes, we gotta look for it too.
All right, man. Well, listen, I'm just like I'm trying to
That's
process
okay.
everything. You've given me a 7-course
All
meal
right.
here, but I hope the listeners and the viewers who watch this whenever, I mean, I hope that they at least are not dismissive. The whole point of this podcast is to have topics like we're
Sure.
talking about, and find out. All right, well, maybe I don't agree with this, but I can understand why Les is into this. He's shown us things that we can't really explain what it is, and it's unidentified. So by definition, it is an unidentified flying object or an orb or whatever. And one final thing, even though you think that they work with the government, you don't think these are government
No,
craft.
definitely not. Our craft can't do anything like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Now I will show you
right,
this as part of a credential that I don't know if you can read that.
Okay.
Field investigator for Georgia, MUFON. There you go.
So if now you're in Arkansas, so if someone in Arkansas has an encounter or sees something and they call, you go investigate it?
If I was still with him, yes. I'm not with MUFON anymore, dude, because I've got ADHD pretty bad, but yeah. Yep.
Okay. So, but I mean, all right, let's say in an unofficial capacity.
Yes.
Let's say that I go and I film something. I reach out to you, Les. Take a look at this. Tell me what you think. You're good with that, right?
I get those just about once a week almost. Yep.
Okay, go ahead and tell us again your YouTube channel and your Facebook group, because I want people to be able to see your
my
work.
YouTube channel is Objects and Orbs, and then my Facebook group is also called Objects and Orbs. And then if you want to email me, my email address is objectsandorbs@gmail.com.
All right, man. Well, listen, I know yesterday was a teaser, but today has been fantastic. Thank you again so much for being here, and I'll definitely be in touch again, because I found out yesterday, folks, he chases ghosts too, and then I find out today that he chases fairies. Do you have? I'm sure you have evidence for those things too, right?
I've got maybe one or two. That's about it.
But I'm tearing the place apart. But you're still open for discussion,
yes, sir.
right? All right, Les. Thank you so much, man. Have a great night, and I'll be in touch very soon.
Talk to you later, my friend.
All right, see you, friend. So, as Les works his way out, what do you think? I mean, he has. There's evidence that he has. There's no arguing that he has things that he's filmed that we can't explain what they are. Maybe you have a theory on what they are. Let me know. If you have an idea for a future show, email us at freethinkpod@gmail.com. Like I say, there, I'll definitely be in touch with Les. We'll go ghost hunting, and apparently fairies too. So thanks so much for tuning in to Free Think episode 1. I have been Trav, and hopefully you have been educated and entertained. I'll see y'all sometime soon.